Alright, so I got a mess of axles and steering stuff here in the corner. You can see there's a drop axle like right there. That's the one we were starting to polish for the T, but free T, but I ran out of time and went with a not as rough. So up here I've been making a rack of old drop axles and 32 heavy axles. So Andrew's going to climb up there and we're going to donate an axle to him. So we're going to try and find the most narrow axle we can up here, since he's doing this 60s style build. They usually have the real narrow axles in the front for the style he's going. So what's the bottom two, center of kingpin to center of kingpin? What are those?
This one is 48 inches.
48, okay.
This one is 48 and 3/8.
Okay. That one above it's probably really wide then, right? It's all stretched out.
This one is about 50 inches.
Okay, so they stretched that one out back to probably basically stock.
Yeah.
And then that one above it is the one we found with the 36 slant back in New York.
It's like 47 and a quarter.
Alright, and that top one's a heavy, so that's not going to work. Yeah, so why don't we take down that, it looks like that one they dropped, but they didn't stretch it out, so that'll give you your drop, but keep it nice and narrow looking in the front. So
yeah,
should be able to pull that down. You just got to untwist the little wires that I have up there. Either that or we can cut them. Struggling. It's sitting on that screw, so it's not going to fall. There you go. Alright, hand it down. Sweet. Alright, so we got the axle all up in the vise here, and this axle was kind of sitting in a wet environment. I'll try and get the zoom here. So you can see that kingpin bore is a little crusty in there. So Andrew already did one side. This is what the kingpin should slide in and out like. Boom, like that. So this side does not slide in like that. So Andrew has a drill here with this little tapered wired wheel, and that's what he's been working it with. So he's going to run that in and out the bore, a little bit of sandpaper if need be with, you know, with his hand, and then we should have this bore all cleaned up so he can start putting the spindles on. Oh!
What was that?
Hey, you need a little more.
Yeah, I know, but it went through.
Yeah, that's close. You just got to probably... Yeah, it's probably at the bottom here because you can see the way it's catching.
Yeah.
So I would focus on that bottom. It'll come out. Focus on that bottom. You're really close. Yeah, that's what you want to drop in. You're almost on your way to pizza, son.
I know, Dad.
You may have to turn the radio off and then turn it back on.
Oh!
Got it? Let's see it. Yes!
All right.
Success. Alright, ready to put this together. So you got your, so this is the front.
Yeah.
Let's make this a little tighter. Okay.
So steering arm goes on this side.
Yep. Get that. Okay, flip it. Alright. Bearing goes open
What
side.
about those little collar pieces?
You need your little felt washer for the top before. Oh, you got it already.
There's 2 little washers. You just pick them up.
Now every axle is different on how many of these feelers it takes. So put those guys in and try and catch them with your throw them.
I can't tell.
Just want to be mindful to keep this slot on your kingpin. Keep that slot needs to be lined up right here because your bolt locates right there. So let's see if I can fit this guy in between. Now this open side always goes down, and the way I remember it is you don't want rain going in the bearing, so we'll mix that up. So you want that going down. And that'll fish in, and then just... They did a pretty good job honing that out. Alright, so I'm a little low there, but usually this guy will locate on it. Oop, duh. So you got a mallet out or anything?
We did. Over here.
So we're gonna have to heat and drop these then. You may want to put your washers. You don't want to wreck those washers, so is it not going through the... Once you tap it through a little more, and then you can slide those washers on. Okay, so you're just running lined up, right? Alright. Yeah. How's your groove turned the right way? No, you gotta... Right about there. Try and give it...
You have the bearing?
Yeah, I have a bearing. You may have to wiggle this. See? There you go. It's all finely machined, so it's got to be just at the right angle. There it goes. You just moved it a bunch. Oop. Bearing down. Slips in there. You know what? These might have came off of this axle. No, they didn't. All right. That goes through here.
Yeah, let me hammer it up a little bit and we'll turn it.
Yep. Hey. Look better. Yeah, sometimes you can just, if it's sort of close, you can just give it a tap and it'll find its home. There it goes. If it's close, you can usually it'll. That's good. Just to keep it home in its home. All right. Let's just snug these up.
Snug them?
Yeah, they're alright for now. Now go outside and see if you can find 2 drums. They're gonna hit till we heat and bend everything.
We could just pull them together so they don't turn.
Alright, so go get a set of drums, front drums. It'll drive it out. It'll just be a pain in the ass to get off.
We're just gonna paint it together.
No, you gotta take it apart to put your backing plates out.
No, we're running
That's
no
good,
front
yeah.
brakes.
Yeah.
That's good for now. There you go. Other side, you're on your way.
Let me undo.
All right, so you got the wheels all mounted up, got the axle mounted, and ready to roll. So tell everybody what you did with the wheels here.
So I asked my grandfather to help me out making these on some free time during the week. We went to Lowe's, got some 3/4 inch plywood. It was just a 4x8 sheet. We could fit all 4 wheels on it, so it was a good buy. First I came here, measured the wheels that are on Matt's Roadster, the Sweetheart Roadster wheels, because I kind of like the tire sizes that are on that car. So I measured it, got the radius, used a compass, drew them out on the plywood, made sure they'd all fit. And then we found center so that we can mark out the bolt holes. So how we marked out the bolt holes was we had a drum there and we measured from the center of the drum to the center of each bolt hole and went around and did 5 holes. And then we just measured, we drew a circle. We drew another circle. And then we just spaced out 5 holes on it.
Oh, cool.
We measured from like the distance between each stud and just lined it up with the circle that we drew so that they'd be evenly spaced.
Cool.
And cut it out. Did a 3.5 inch hole saw to get the hub to fit through the middle, and drilled out each stud, and
Here we
they
go.
work.
So the whole idea with this is tires are obviously quite expensive for these cars. That's like my least favorite thing to buy for these early cars is like you could scrounge and buy old parts for cheap, but the one thing that we can't make, weld together or find is, that's vintage is tires. So we got to buy new tires. So they're going to be, he wants cheater slicks in the back. They get pretty expensive. So I basically said to Andrew, why don't you build some wheels that are the same tire size that he wants, the same outside circumference, and he was able to make the wheels. Now when we set everything up, the car will sit how we want. He can also roll it around the shop a little bit, and it keeps him moving while he's saving money to get tires for the rear and the front. So now we can take this axle out, get it set on the ground. Next time we're planning on doing is getting the rear all spun around.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah.
But we'll get the rear spun around so that the axle's going the right way. Then we'll get the other plywood wheels on the back, mount the suspension up, the springs on front and rear, and we can put everything under the car, and it might actually sit down on the ground, which will be pretty exciting.
For the first time.
Yeah, it's a big step.
Yeah.
So we're working on it. Andrew's coming over pretty regularly, and we're once we get over this hump of doing this like kind of boring stuff of getting axles broken apart and together, then we can start really doing the actual fabrication to make things go together, like engine mounts, all that stuff, which will be really exciting. So that's all we have for this one. I appreciate you guys following along. As always, we do videos on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Definitely subscribe and share it with a friend. Thanks, guys. Catch you later.